Now, what I'm saying is this. I would like for all of us to believe in nonviolence, but I'm here to say tonight that if every Negro in the United States turns against nonviolence, I'm going to stand up as a lone voice and say this is the wrong way.
I want to welcome you to The Question, where we do a deep dive into information and statements that have been made that many people find to be true or controversial. And the best way for us to do this is by asking questions. I'm your host and guide, Theron King T. Washington. Now, I want to make you aware that there are times when my insight comes from a biblical perspective. Let's jump into it. I've noticed that many times when King is giving a talk or he's getting interviewed, he uses the term Negro to make a point to the public. And it makes me wonder, why does he harp on the term Negro so much? Now, we all know that he had claimed to be a Christian pastor, but it made me think, like, why does it sound like he's separating Negro from everyone else? Why is his message to the public going out to and about Negroes? Let's check it out. Let's watch some more.
I would like for all of us to believe in nonviolence, but I'm here to say tonight that if every Negro in the United States turns against nonviolence,
I will never change in my basic idea that nonviolence is the most potent weapon available to the Negro in his struggle for freedom and justice. I think for the Negro to turn to violence would be both impractical and immoral. But I will agree that there is a group in the Negro community advocating violence now. The vast majority of Negroes still feel that the best way to deal with the dilemma that we face in this country is through nonviolent resistance. And I don't think this vocal group will be able to make a real dent in the Negro community in terms of swaying 22 million Negroes to this particular point of view, to make the kind of changes necessary to make justice a reality for the Negro. The economic plight of the Negro poor has worsened. Well, I would say this: we don't have long the mood of the Negro community now. The other thing is that the Negro has had high visibility. Other racial groups have been able maybe to change the accent or change the names, but the Negro can't.
So first of all, if you notice, King was talking to, for, and about the Negro community. He continually separated the Negro from every other ethnic group in America. My question is, if they were fighting against segregation and for integration, why was King, like always, his message always went out to, for, and about the Negro, like building the Negro up, building the black community up? But it wasn't, if you really listen to him, it wasn't about building America up. If anything, his messages sounded more anti-America than it did America. It seemed like I said, it sounded like there was a contradiction there, because they were speaking, they were marching against segregation, wanting to integrate, but yet he continued to preach for black people rising up, the Negro community, instead of America as a whole. Now, the question I also want to ask is, should a Christian pastor separate people that way, one ethnic group over everyone else? Now, he said, I'm a black pastor. Okay, I get it. You only speaking for the black community. I understand that. That's what you're there for. But he would call himself, and I think other people call himself, a Christian pastor. That's not separation. That's bringing everyone together as a whole.